Kind of a tale of two stories, like really proud of our step back up to compete and fight after a disappointing game against New York. With that said, disappointing start in the fourth quarter when it's winning time. And I just felt like, again, it comes down to that toughness the game was going to be in paint tonight and their physicality. I think they out-rebounded us by 11 in the fourth quarter alone. Obviously outscored us by 14. So it became, that physicality that we were fearful of all night. Could we answer that? So disappointed for that locker room because, again, proud that they responded to the challenge of how we played against New York, and for much of the game thought that we were accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish.
Coach, they kind of did a really good job to try to take away De'Erica. What things did you see from them that helped them do so?
Yeah, they had most of the night 5 people with a foot in the paint or both feet in the paint. It was a very congested paint for us. That's why you see our 3-point attempts higher than we typically have, which we needed to do. Would have liked to shot a little bit better from the 3-point line. But the driving lanes and the spacing was difficult with the way they guard and congest the lane.
What did you see from Odyssey, and what kind of gave you the confidence to give her so many minutes today, and what kind of impact did she have? I mean, she played a bunch down the stretch.
Yeah, as you know, that position is, we are playing our starting point guard and our backup point guard are hardship players. Odyssey doesn't know one play call that we have. We've tried real quickly to get her up to speed, but she's a pro. And I knew she could defend and she could facilitate regardless of schematically. Obviously, we had to keep it very generic and very simple. When she arrived last night at 2 a.m., she's only going to know so much. So, but she's a pro, and you knew what potentially she could give us. And I've coached Odyssey before and have confidence in her. But we're at the highest level of women's basketball, and thankful Crystal's been, really a pleasant surprise for us on being able to step into a difficult situation on hardships, and now as the starting point guard. And Odyssey, who arrived in LA, got to the hotel at 2 a.m., had to play that many minutes. I just give these guys credit. That's the adversity that we are trying to handle, and it's remarkable what this group is continuing to try to do and stay positive through all the adversity that we continue to endure.
Coach, today was another gritty performance by the team, and yet still with about 7 minutes to go, the team managed to squander another lead. What's the root cause of the team's inability to close?
Yeah, again, we have to, when it gets really tough and gritty, like you mentioned that word, we have to execute on the offensive end. We've got to be a unit to get stops. Everyone's going to talk about that, but I want to talk about how we did play in a tough situation. Again, we have our 2 point guards at the highest level don't know our playbook, and we're competing as best as we can.
Coach, when the team has 5 players in double figures before the end of the third quarter, that's usually a good sign. What do you feel like happened in the fourth quarter where you weren't able to hold that lead and win this game?
Yeah, I think, it goes back to, we need to get stops to be able at times to play in transition. We played off of made baskets or dead ball situations a lot in the majority of the fourth quarter. So it takes out the whole element of playing fast and trying to score your offense before defenses get set. They were much more effective in the fourth quarter because they were playing off of made baskets and playing off of dead balls. So then that comes down to offensive execution with our playbook really shrunk. We got to step up and make some plays. We executed tonight within what we tried to do to a lot of open shots. And while we had a night where we, were flirting with 90 points, we missed a lot of capable open shots that this group is definitely capable of making.
Last question. Coach, just 12 points from the Sparks in that fourth quarter. What were the biggest challenges? You've mentioned already the guard play and just the hardship contracts kind of being an issue. Do you feel like with also the points in the paint was a big differential? Obviously, that's what the Sky love to do. They love to score inside. What was the biggest difference to you in the first three quarters compared to the fourth with the way they were able to kind of, get those points in the basket? The Sparks were unable to kind of hold on there.
Yeah, I think it's what we've talked about. I mean, there's no one thing. I thought there was a concerted effort in the fourth quarter to isolate Lindsey Allen off the dribble to get in the paint. There was isolation for Michaela Anuele off the dribble, and they certainly threw the ball a lot to Camilla. And I thought that, her size and strength gave Azare difficulties. And so then you try to counter and you play the small lineup and they have to guard us at the other end. So then you start searching, but then you're a little bit smaller on the boards. And again, they dominated us on the glass by double figures in the fourth quarter.
Thank you, Curt.
We're pulling out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, this one is for you. So you guys have a quick turnaround, obviously with a game like today. I know you always say the next game, but is it difficult to really process, okay, now we've got to pull out in 30 minutes, and now we got to go face the Las Vegas Aces. How are you guys processing it and coming together as a team and lifting each other up?
Yeah, just gotta have a quick forgetful memory. Like, you just gotta move on to the next and just keep pushing. Honestly, it's honestly hard. People don't speak about it, but it's just like, losing and then going to go play one of the best teams in the league is something that's hard. But I feel like we're up for the challenge, and we're gonna continue to work on the things we need to work on.
Hey, Raquel, another question for you. Just talking about this moment, you guys able to play against Angel Reese, Cardoza, two players that was in one of the better drafts that we've seen in a while for the WNBA. Just what was that moment like for you out there, and just the energy that the crowd was able to bring in such a big game?
I feel like it was just another game, but as for our crowd and stuff, I feel like they were amazing. I just love that they continue to come out and support us. They just show up for us, and I just love them so much. And I just ask that y'all continue to support us. We're going to keep working hard for y'all, and we're very grateful to have you.
For both of you, seemed like in the fourth quarter there, when Chicago went on their run, that they just weren't able to respond to that. That's kind of when the game changed. I guess what did you see at the beginning of the fourth quarter that kind of changed there?
Their physicality level definitely just went up, and we weren't able to match that off rip. I think once we got a timeout, we kind of settled in and we were able to match that run. But once the team gets started like that and when the time is started to stop.
My question's for Dangerfield. You had, I think, your best game so far with the Sparks, 7.6 assists in your first start with the team. How did it feel being there with the main squad, especially getting off to that good start during the first quarter?
It feels good. Anytime, we're getting to play basketball for a living. We get paid to play basketball. So anytime we get out on the court, I'm grateful for it. And this is a good group. We have an opportunity to bounce back, and we had an opportunity today to bounce back from the showing the other night. And I think that we're on the right track for the rest of the second half of the season.
Hey y'all, DJ from Infinity TV. Either one of you can answer this question, but Coach came in here and talked about points in the paint because Chicago likes to score that way. Can you talk a little bit about the physicality of points in the paint versus the three-point attempts? Because we needed to score a little bit more from the three-point line. What was it like making that adjustment real time?
Real time is tough, but we know that they were a paint team. They don't have very many 3-point shooters. Rachel got hot today. But other than that, we knew that they were going to pound it inside. Guards getting inside with Kennedy, Allen, all of them. Offensive rebounds off free throws, offensive rebounds off just missed shots. That's their game plan. And I don't remember what he said. I think we got out rebounded in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So we weren't able to answer that though. But we have an opportunity to do that because Las Vegas can do the same thing.
Thank you.
Crystal, when you first came, you talked about how you already played for half the team in this league. And on a 7-day, what is it like to start in a game when Coach Miller is telling us that both of his point guards that were active are still learning this playbook?
Just understanding like you as a player, I think is gonna help you anywhere you go, whatever situation, and then fill in the gaps from there. It is a pretty big playbook, but he does a good job of doing play calls where it's gonna get us into successful positions for us personally and then as a team.
Thank you, ladies.
Safe travels.
Travel.
Thank you.
Rest.